We're going to separate the boys from the men. We're going to find out who's really fool's gold. You know, there's a lot of differences when it comes to players that are doing well, practicing against their own team, and then when facing opponents, especially that, you know, we just had the joint practices for a couple days with the New England Patriots, really starting to show what is really turning around. This is the preview for Week 2 preseason. What I'm looking for going into this game and forward. Let's get straight into it.
A killer buried, but not dead.
Darren, we better turn around. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what's going on, guys? I hope everyone's having a fantastic day today. It's been a crazy day today. But we have a lot to go over regarding the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think the number one thing to really go over at this point is who's really been showing, and then going into this Week 2 preseason game against the New England Patriots, you really start to see when, you know, your roster, when they're facing actual opponents and not your own team day in and day out. That's when the pads come on, you're facing other opponents, and you're really starting to see some type of change in specific positions, and you start to see a little change in the wind tone a little bit. Okay, now the first thing I kind of want to go over is, and I think everyone might not be happy, maybe people are kind of down on it still, I really don't know. It really comes down to linebacker, okay? Zack Bonan, for some reason, and I understand, the guy only had one series in the Ravens game, as well as Carter and Davis, and the rest of some of these starters only had one series. So when the limited snap count, and it seems like during training camp when it was Eagles against Eagles, okay, facing their own players, Zack Bonan has been the limelight. He has been fantastic. And it seems like Fangio, this is like, it's like the teacher's pet. It's like he always talks about Zack Bonan. Really, since he was introduced in his introductory press conference to be the new DC for the Eagles, Zack Bonan was the first name that came up on his mind. It seems like Zack Bonan is not producing as much against opponents than he is against his own teammates with the Philadelphia Eagles. That's what it's been seeming like for this long time, where Fangio is seemed like he really wasn't giving the rest of these linebackers a lot more opportunity, especially the young guys. Okay. Really, that Ravens game, I thought Nakobe Dean was really physical in that game. Unfortunately, the pass coverage is suspect. If Nakobe Dean is running backwards or sideline to sideline, I feel like the only way you can use him is downhill, and that's a problem right now, but hopefully to see more from him. But Jeremiah Trotter Jr., I know I've been talking about him for days, but really since the open practice and beyond and going forward, it seems like he was making a little bit of noise. Okay, during Eagles practice, but once the day started going on, we hit the Ravens game, 6 tackles, 1 sack, goes into the Patriots, the practice against the Patriots, and he, had a pick. I mean, he was blitzing really well. I mean, special teams, he's doing really well. It just seems like there is a change in the wind right now, and I'm starting to feel a little bit more comfortable going forward, where I think theoretically that Jeremiah Trotter Jr. could start the first game. When this whole thing started in the offseason, I said, he's got a lot of competition in front of him, but I think when you see Zack Bonan starting with first team every single day, besides joint practice with the Patriots and besides the open practice for the Philadelphia Eagles in front of our own fans, those were really the only 2 days that Zack Bonan was out. Zack Bonan has pretty much been the starter really in the first team. So if we figure Fangio has him on first team, then we figure that he's playing really well. But as soon as we get to opponents, Jeremiah Trotter is just better, has been playing better, has been it's just insane how crazy this is going. That's why you have to take preseason with a grain of salt, especially when you're facing your own teammates every single day. Every player knows each other. Every player knows their strengths and weaknesses and know each other really well, what they're good at, what they're not good at. And Trotter, since really getting into the real competition of opponents, has outplayed Zack Bonan by an entire mile. And that's where we're really at right now in this competition. And I think it's getting more exciting going forward. And I'm hoping we'll see Trotter play, Zack Bonan hopefully play. I don't know. They're treating Zack Bonan should have had more snaps if he hasn't been producing as much. Not saying Zack Bonan's not producing. He had a pick. He had a pick off a deflection from the Kobe Dean in the joint practices, but it's just not, there's not much news with Zack Bonan. I mean, is he in the right spot at the right time? Is he doing the little things right, but not making plays? Like, what is the issue with Zack Bonan? Why is he always the favorite over Jeremiah Trotter Jr.? Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is going to start next to Devin White this season. It just really seems like that. Who knows? Zack Bonan might have a great game today. Who knows? I have no idea. But I think, like I said, I've been feeling a little bit more comfortable, non-panicky, less worried, because I feel like Trotter Jr. is just getting closer and closer to climb up this depth chart, and Zack Bonan might not even start anymore. Is Zack Bonan fool's gold? Has Fangio made the biggest mistake, but is correcting himself now by putting Trotter in that first lineup with Devin White? I guess we're going to find out, and hopefully by today we'll find out a lot more, because I love the competition, and it's getting real spicy, real juicy, okay? And I'm ready to go. Now, I want to get into the cornerback spot going into the second game, too. Now, there are people out there that legitimately think, and I'm not against it, there are people legitimately thinking that there is an actual competition for cornerback 2 right now. That Isaiah Rodgers is in almost the same situation as Zack Bonan, where Kelee Ringo has made more plays against opponents than Isaiah Rodgers did. Isaiah Rodgers got beat on a couple of, a couple slant plays, wasn't close to, whatever. I mean, Isaiah Rodgers, real physical corner. Didn't play at all last year because he was suspended. And obviously coming in now, potentially as the future number 2, while Quinyon Mitchell is really set at that nickel spot right now, where I think he's really going to stay. And Kelee Ringo at this point has been making so many more plays, especially in the red zone as well, and doing all that. Coverage is really good. There was a couple plays in the Ravens game. I think 1 or 2 passes that he gave up, not by much. It was one, I think there was like a small, a couple underthrown balls that the receiver came back for, caught it, and Ringo gave up a little bit, but not much. When it came to those big plays, Ringo was right in line, and we could see that his offseason, what he did before training camp and what he was working on to really get himself better, it has paid off entirely. So a lot of rumors right now between the fan base of Kelee Ringo versus Isaiah Rodgers. Is Isaiah Rodgers, is showing up a lot more when it's Eagles practice. Kelee Ringo is showing up a lot more when it's against opponents. So there's always a difference with these players when they go into preseason against their own teammates to now facing other teams and, showcasing a lot more, especially when you have those full pads on, because technically Isaiah Rodgers has led the starting cornerback 2 battle at this point. He has started more days with pads on than Kelee Ringo has. But it seems like Kelee Ringo has just been producing a lot more. So hoping to see more tonight out of this corner group going forward. And, cornerback 2 is definitely, I think it's still not done. I think there's still something there. As much as I think a week or two ago, I said, it looks like Isaiah Rodgers is going to be the cornerback 2. It might be changing now, because now when you're facing opponents, much different in that aspect. Now, safety, I'm not saying safety's a mess right now. Safety is just a work in progress, not because there's no talent at that position. I think it's just because with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson being out, Reed Blankenship, there are people that are high on him. There are people that are low on him right now. A lot of people don't like James Bradberry at safety. I don't think he's athletically sound at this position. I think he's got the body for it, but intellectually, I don't know why Fangio is crowning this this guy so much every single day. Oh, he's transitioning really well and this and that. And, but I don't get it. I don't think he's producing as much as everyone thinks he is. I mean, he didn't have his one-on-ones weren't that fantastic, facing the Patriots against tight ends. So that's already making me really nervous. It's hard for me because I feel like, do the Eagles feel like they have to go after Justin Simmons? Because I think if they would have already. Okay, he's already working out for the Falcons. He left the Saints without a deal. Or do they think Reed and Chauncey, since Reed and Chauncey have played together before, okay, could they, reminisce on, maybe between Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's ball hawk ability to Reed Blankenship in the box contact safety type ability, that they have a good combination back there. Okay, obviously with Mekhi Gardner, James Bradberry, Tristan McCollum is another guy I actually really like because he had some hard hits at safety, and he's made some plays on special teams. Tristan McCollum is something to definitely watch out for in the future. Let's see what he does in this preseason game. So and then the Cooper DeJean thing is a whole nother thing because we don't even know if they'll eventually move to him. They'll move him to safety, down the line, and he'll be back next week. He will not be playing in this game at all. So safety is definitely another work in progress, but want to see more from the younger guys and to see if James Bradberry actually makes some plays in this game or something. I don't know, but hopefully he doesn't get exposed. That's all I really got to say there. Now, running back. You already know you have Saquon Barkley not playing in this game. You have Saquon Barkley, obviously Kenneth Gainwell. He'll probably get a little bit of snaps, but Will Shipley, can't wait to see more of him. I'm already kind of sold on Will Shipley. I honestly want to see more, to be honest with you. But what I'm really interested in is, will they actually keep a bruiser back for the first time in a while? Will they actually use a guy in red zone? Will they actually keep 4 running backs on this roster this year? Between Kendall Milton, Nichols, Price. I mean, those other 3 guys, I thought they did really well. I think Kendall Milton is leading the pack right now. I think as a North and South runner, and I wouldn't even turn this guy into a receiving back so much. They probably will. They've been treating all the running backs mostly the same. But I like Kendall Milton after contact. I want to see more on him going forward. And I haven't really had anything to complain about when it has come to the running back position. It's been fantastic. I love the different combination of different players. Just so much variety and diversity when it comes to skill sets at that position. And it's really enjoyable to watch. Now, receiver, okay? It is time for the Eagles to find their wide receiver 3. It is time to see, look, you're paying Devontae Smith, you're paying A.J. Brown a lot of money, okay, going forward, and obviously you're going to depend on those 2 guys for a lot. But God forbid, okay, I don't know why the Eagles have not gotten this position right, the past few years, really since 17, where Nelson Aguilar had a pretty good year for his 1 year he was in for the 1 year he did good in Philadelphia. That's how long it's really been. Depend on somebody for the big moments. Paris Campbell did practice, okay? He was limited, 2 days ago, okay? But the problem I have right now is that, he's probably not playing this week. He's probably not playing today. And then you're really down to Britton Covey. You're down to, Johnny Wilson, which I'm really excited about. I'm really happy about those 2 and how long they've come, this offseason. I need to see more. Johnny Wilson did not have enough reps the first game. Want to see his size, want to see more of his blocking, want to see some more catches. And I know Johnny Wilson got separation that first game. There's plenty of tape on it. And obviously Britton Covey on pre-snap motion and doing all the screen passes and doing these different things with him. If Paris Campbell can work out, okay, I think you will use all 3 wide receivers every single game, okay? I think you will not split up the reps at least, because your wide receiver 3 will probably do a little bit more, but you will sprinkle in Britton Covey. You will sprinkle in Johnny Wilson in red zone, short yardage, or however they want to use him, because I think he's been pretty good in open space. There's really nobody else. We've been contemplating if the Eagles should go after another receiver at this point, whether it's John Mechie trade, whether it's Hunter Renfrow. There's been like stupid rumors of Alan Lazard from the Jets. I don't know. There's been a ton of rumors. You know, if Campbell is like fried at this point, he was injured last year. Now he's injured again. Now coming off an injury, missing so many important weeks of, you know, and look, not so many important weeks, but, you know, Paris Campbell was pretty much the leading receiver with no pads on, okay? Not facing opponents, nothing. So we get to see what Paris Campbell's going to be about. And he's made some good catches during practice on man coverage. And can we depend on him in those big moments? But if Paris Campbell just say he's hurt so much, or he gets hurt again, or he's just not cutting it, are we okay with Britton Covey? Are we okay with Johnny Wilson? Is there a full-time guy, or will they use both of those guys in certain situations, okay? Or will they add one more guy? John Ross. John Ross has been pretty solid at times. I feel like he needs to attack the football a little bit more. I feel like he's way too passive, waiting for the ball to come to him. I think he has to go up and grab it and use that speed that he has. And he did good during, he was open. He was getting separation during, obviously, the Patriots joint practices. And so far, I think it's been solid. It's been a lot more than I thought that John Ross was going to do, so that's a good thing. So, wide receiver still up in the air. Paris Campbell, I doubt if he's active, but hopefully we'll see more next week. So, down to Britton Covey, Johnny Wilson, and obviously John Ross going forward. Now, the last thing, really? Well, not really the last thing, but Tanner McKee, okay? I need to see Tanner McKee with the first half. I need to see him first, not Kenny Pickett, because I feel like I've already talked about this a million times. McKee looked better than Pickett. McKee, I just feel like his receivers didn't really do much for him. A lot of drop balls, a lot of just missed, going through the hands of receivers and tight ends. I feel like there was a lot of missed opportunities because of skill, and I feel like Tanner McKee needs to be in that first half, switch them both around. I feel like McKee definitely has a step over, at this point to Pickett. And, Pickett might not make this team. You might have McKee, you might have Will Greer here that, was with the Cowboys and obviously was with us, as probably will be a practice squad body most likely. But we'll see what happens in the near future. But McKee definitely really needs those snaps, no doubt. But really, other than that, guys, I mean, defensive line, I think, is another one. I mean, I need to see some edge. I really need to see Nolan Smith. I need to see more of an edge rush. I feel like there's just not enough of it right now. I feel like in space, we're getting guys that are producing. Jalix Hunt is playing fantastic, and I definitely want to see more going forward. But I got to say this. I'm going to put up Nolan Smith because I totally forgot to do that, so I'm being a little bit of a noob right now. Nolan Smith, I feel like, is just one of those guys right now, and physicality-wise, he needs to be a better edge rusher. I just think physically his tools need to be assembled a little bit better. He just needs a better push. He just needs to get around the edge a lot better. In space, he's been fine. In coverage, he's been fine. But I think that's what we're really lacking. Jalix Hunt, great in open space, could at 6'2", 6'3", whatever, 6'3 and a half, 252 pounds. Jalix Hunt can run sideline to sideline, can run with tight ends, running backs. I mean, this what he could do with his speed is absolutely off the charts. And Nolan Smith, it's just been, what I mean? I feel like there's way too many fits for coverage, and I get we have to drop our guys in coverage. I get it. But guys, we are lacking that pass rush ability. Like we are lacking it with the edge guys. I know Josh Sweat. Josh Sweat's been having a really weird, quiet offseason. I don't know why. I know in the past, even before training camp or the first day of training camp, Josh Sweat did say that he hates being in coverage. Remember, we heard that. It was like, okay, well, I don't know why Fangio's not getting rid of you then if that's the case, and why the Eagles even restructured him at that point if he's even disliking being in coverage. Brandon Graham, whatever, so it's just, to me, I feel like there's just, I hope I'm wrong. Okay. I feel like you're getting more of those scheme fits when it comes to open space, dropping in coverage, perfectly fine. But the edge, like actually going off the quarterbacks from the edge is where we have to work on, because I feel like, the Eagles do dial up blitzes where if you have Nakobe Dean at middle linebacker, let's say, for example, and he can't be in coverage, dial up blitzes to where Nakobe Dean can't cover. You know what I mean? He's going to make the roster. They have no choice. They need bodies at linebacker. So he's not going to get cut. So I feel like with Nolan Smith and some of these edge guys, Fangio needs to unleash them on the edge and just see what they could do pass rush wise. I want to see more of Jalix Hunt going after the quarterback, to be honest with you. I think I've not seen enough, but I think I've seen a good amount of him in space and him making a lot of tackles, or not even just that, but Jalix Hunt has done good, like, Trotter Jr. had a sack, or almost did have he did have a sack in the Ravens game, and now it's because Jalix Hunt, as an edge rusher, came out, went back in the coverage, chased a running back up the right sideline, and the quarterback was looking that direction and had to go upfield, and Jeremiah Trotter Jr. got the sack. So even if you're not making a play, you're still, preventing big plays from happening. I thought Jalix Hunt did that a couple times. Josh Johnson could have had a scramble touchdown up the field into the end zone if he didn't change direction off his coverage on the tight end and go after the quarterback. So there's a lot of good things to take from these guys being in open space. But when it comes to edge and going after the quarterback and seeing that pressure, one sack from Nolan Smith in the third quarter is not going to turn me around a little bit. Now, Nolan Smith had a pretty good game, joint practice at least, against a 7-year vet and a left tackle. He did fantastic on some of the 1v1 reps. So I'm hoping to see more. I just feel like defensive line-wise, we haven't seen enough of just trying to garnish pressure. That's really the main thing. That's where I'm kind of at with this whole situation going forward. But really, other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. That is the preview towards the New England Patriots. The Patriots' offensive line is not good. I think we all know this. Their offense, Drake May, they're just bad. They're just Jacoby Brissett. They were both horrible. The offensive line's horrible. The Patriots' defense, though, is a whole nother thing. The Patriots' defense is good. They have a really good linebacker core. They got some good players. They got some dogs on the other side, no doubt. That defense is pretty damn good. Nothing compared to the offense, though. It's like night and day on both sides of the ball there. So let me know what you guys think. How much do you take out of facing your own team, now seeing the switch up now of players that weren't doing good, again, with no pads, are now facing opponents with full pads on and producing more? Trotter Jr., Ringo, Trotter Jr. over Zack Bonan, Ringo over Isaiah Rodgers. Do you believe it? What position are you excited for to see against the Patriots for week 2 of preseason? I think it's going to be really interesting. If you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. We cover the Eagles every single day. We'll be shooting the preseason game today. And if you guys haven't liked the video, it does help out the channel tremendously. And I will see you guys on the next one. Week 2, here we are. Preseason week 2. Can't wait. I'll see you guys. Shakes it off, follow side. Peace out, guys. Peace.